Hey there, friends. I'm Jacqueline Clare. Welcome back to this reading of the Advent of Divine Justice. Curious what this is? I have links below to the first video and this document written by Shoghi Effendi in 1938. I am at Acre Baha'i School in Maine. Though you can't really tell, I could be anywhere. But trust me, I'm at Acre. And we're going to be jumping right in to paragraph 86. This second stage in the progressive unfoldment of teaching activities and enterprises under the 7-year plan is reached, and the machinery required for its prosecution begins to operate. The American believers, the stout-hearted pioneers of this mighty movement, must, guided by the unfailing light of Baha'u'llah and in strict accordance with the plan laid out by Abdul-Baha and acting under the direction of their National Spiritual Assembly and assured of the aid of the Inter-America Committee, launch an offensive against the powers of darkness, of corruption, and of ignorance, an offensive that must extend to the uttermost end of the southern continent and embrace within its scope each of the 20 nations that compose it. Let some at this very moment gird up the loins of their endeavor, flee their native towns, cities, and states, forsake their country, and putting their whole trust in God as the best provisions for their journey, set their faces and direct their steps toward those distant climes, those virgin fields, those unsurrendered cities, and bend their energies to capture the citadels of men's hearts. Hearts which, as Baha'u'llah has written, the hosts of revelation and of utterance can subdue. Let them not tarry until such time as their fellow laborers will have passed the first stage in their campaign of teaching, but let them rather from this very hour arise to usher in the opening phase of what will come to be regarded as one of the most glorious chapters in the international history of their faith. Let them at the very outset teach their own selves, that their speech may attract the hearts of their hearers. Let them regard the triumph of their faith as their supreme objective. I want to acting geek out on you here. So most sincere acting techniques, which is a whole interesting psychology, that as artists we need techniques to help create authentic behavior, because you're working with imaginary circumstances to create truthful moments. And so most acting techniques require having an objective. What is your character after? And there's sort of different levels of understanding this. Like the teenage son in the scene, practically he really wants the keys to the car, but on a deeper level, what does that mean? He really wants to be recognized as an adult, or he really wants power, or something like that. So part of an actor's homework is to figure out what is their objective, because it influences every aspect of their interaction with other characters and the world around them. So when I hear about having a supreme objective, I think about in our lives, if our supreme objective is the triumph of our faith, how does that influence how we talk to the postman? How does that influence the way we put down our fork at the dinner table? I mean, not to get neurotic about it, but I mean, like, if that is what is animating the purpose of everything that we do, and I know from acting that what your objective is extremely powerful and pervasive. It's just an interesting thing to think about, like, what do you really want right now? And my spiritual understanding is, the more that our wants are aligned with God's will and what he wants for us, which he's told us, the triumph of his cause, the ever-advancing civilization, then the more powerful, in a spiritual sense, our movement in the world is. It's a little acting, geeking out. All right. Let them regard the triumph of their faith as their supreme objective. Let them not consider the largeness or smallness of the receptacle that carries the measure of grace that God poureth forth in this age. Let them disencumber themselves of all attachment to this world and the vanities thereof, and with the spirit of detachment which Abdul-Baha exemplified and wished them to emulate, bring these diversified peoples and countries to the remembrance of God and his supreme manifestation. Let his love be a storehouse of treasure for their souls on the day when every pillar shall tremble, and when the very skins of men shall creep, when all eyes shall stare up with terror. Let their souls be aglow with the flame of the undying fire that burneth in the midmost heart of the world, in such wise that the waters of the universe will be powerless to cool down its ardor. Let them be unrestrained as the wind, which neither the sight of desolation nor the evidences of prosperity can either pain or please. Let them unloose their tongues and proclaim unceasingly his cause. Let them proclaim that which the most great Spirit will inspire them to utter in the service of the cause of their Lord. Let them beware lest they contend with anyone, nay, strive to make him aware of the truth with kindly manner and most convincing exhortation. Let them wholly, for the sake of God, proclaim his message, and with the same spirit accept whatever response their words may evoke in their hearer. Let them not for one moment forget that the faithful Spirit shall strengthen them through its power, and that a company of his chosen angels shall go forth with them as bidden by him who is the Almighty, the All-Wise. Let them ever bear in mind how great is the blessedness that awaiteth them that have attained the honor of serving the Almighty. And remember that such a service is indeed the prince of all goodly deeds and the ornament of every goodly act. Aloha, friends. That was the end of paragraph 87. Have a beautiful day, making the world a better place. Please remember to subscribe to this channel and like and comment and share and create amazing movement out of these wonderful words of Shoghi Effendi, the Guardian. Bye-bye.